Yo, we're live. All right. Are we good? Impromptu live, 0 people. 3 people. 3 people. How's the audio? We got live action? Hang on a second here. All right, hang on. We got to go. You know what? I'm going to need that keyboard. So we're going to look at some artist proof cards. And hey, what's up, Simon? And something that Grendel's Gallery. What time is it in Australia right now? I actually where is I gotta get on Facebook. The old Facebook Messenger. I was actually gonna try to have a guest on to talk about a specialty topic, but he's in Australia. It's after 11 a.m. on Saturday, though. So there's no excuse, right? He should be around. So let's see if he messages me back. And I was talking to Tony, frequent guest Tony Sublow, and it's 7 o'clock. He told me he had to take a nap. So he operates on his own time zone. You never know. Let's add the overhead cam here. All right. So we got the overhead cam. Maybe Tony will resurface. I wanted to kind of wait on that, and I was going to show some of Tony's stuff, but I'm not sure if or when he'll be around. So I want to wait till there's some more people on. So I don't want to. I might have leaked it a little bit there. I was going to show one of his artist proof cards and also a sketch. There's a sketch that goes with it. It's the original sketch from the illustration from the game, and then there is a this like cool process image where he had like a 4-stage process of how he did that illustration, from like a black and white sketch, which is actually really big. It's about 14 by 17 inches, I would say, because I have this. Let me bust out this portfolio. I have a art portfolio that's 14 by 17 inches, and this thing takes up the whole size of this portfolio. And I put it in here because he's just sent it in a tube, and obviously it has to straighten back out. So it's taken up the full size of the tube of the portfolio, 14 by 17. I'm going to get to that later. That's going to be a mess to try to angle that around the microphone. So let's zoom in here a little bit. I guess what I'll do is Sunday we're going to have Truett Parrish come on. And let's see. So right now I just launched this one. Let me minimize myself a little bit here. No, not like that. Yeah. So the Stone Gaze Gorgons is an awesome series by Severin, and she's done about 5 or 6 of these so far. And this one, the first one had like a zoom in of, I'd say, I don't know, they all look a little bit similar. Maybe this one on the right is kind of like a zoom in look of her face and the snakes, the Medusa style like snake here, right? And then she has a few with that concept at different vantage points or pose angles and different things like that. And then the second one was the one where she was like scantily clad, and that was really popular and did really well. And then this one is kind of similar with the backshot view. So this is number 3 of 25. 1 and 2 she's already sold here, and this is number 3. So it's really cool. It's got like the skulls, you see kind of hanging around in the rocks on the side, and then the Medusa. The Medusa here, snakes, and a bit of nudity there to spice things up a little bit. So that's pretty cool. We kind of laughed at like that last one did so well about how people love dragons, wizards, and scantily clad ladies. So maybe you'll see more of that in future series that she does. So we'll look at Tony's a little bit later. I'm going to set that aside. These ones from Truett. So he's going to come on the show on Sunday. And he, I think it's at 12 o'clock, so noon Eastern on Sunday. and then we'll talk for like an hour or so. It'll be like an interview style. I have an interview up at collectorarthouse.com. It was actually the very first person I've ever interviewed for Sorcery. There's 15 interviews up on the website, written Q&A style. That's what. Hey Maggio, what's up, man? That was that was really the impetus for why I started the website to begin with. I wanted to interview the artists, and I figured I would do like written Q&A because they're all very busy. This was back in, man, what was it? I think I stood up the website in like fall of 2020 or 2021, and then maybe let's say like January's time frame. It was really up, and I curated all the art. I scoured the social medias of all the artists. I have a profile page up there where all their social media and contact information is linked, and then I wanted to do like the interviews, right? But I gathered all the artwork first. I went across all their social media. I found the full art images, like from Truitt's portfolio. And there's a full art image page where you see the full art illustration. And it's really cool doing that because we discovered a lot of the Easter eggs that were often hidden beneath the text mechanic box. And, some artists leveraged that more than others. There was like obviously some templating that was done. We learned that from some of the early videos on the channel. I showed some of the templates that Severin had worked with for example, Predestination, which we now know as Keith Era Mechanism. She had a template that said, I think it said Trill Wolpertanger. That's the new sample. I hesitate to say new. It's not new, but it's a sample card that someone recently discovered in a pack. So that's really cool. That sample card exists. The card ultimately, the illustration was not used in alpha, so hopefully we'll see that in maybe Arthurian Legends. I don't know. A Wolpertinger. What would it do amongst the knights in Arthurian Legends? That'd be really cool to see. But anyway, she had this template that said, just the arbitrary card art name or the title. It said Wolpertinger, and then at the bottom it just said art at copyright, like @ or a copyright sign, Severin Pino or Pinu. And then she had the illustration piece, the prominent featured piece from Keith Era Mechanism in the center. So that's how, I saw you got the Trill, man. It's awesome. Really beautiful artwork. And the picture that I shared on the Facebook community group and I think I posted in the Discord as well. Yeah. Those were from the guy that actually bought that painting like a year and a half ago. Beautiful painting. He did an amazing frame job. He's got several pieces that he shared with me. Oh, and Truitt just sent me a message. Okay. All right, hang on. I got to text him back. Not on camera. All right, what's up, Jack? Easy with that. All right. So anyway, the Wolpertinger, beautiful card. Hopefully you see it. Careful around the art binder, man. Hopefully we'll see that in a future set. But Truitt just sent me a message. We're confirmed for Sunday at noon. It'll be a nice little interview. And then here we go. We got the set of 6 cards. So the funny story here is Truitt sent me these cards, right? It's the first. He sold like a series to someone that's bought several of his paintings. If you guys are in the Discord, you probably know who the #1 Truitt fan is. So he bought a complete set, and then this series I think was he actually numbered these number 5, which is interesting because we just had the number 3 series we just cycled through. So these are numbered 5, but he sent them off and he forgot to sign and number them. Thanks, Jack. Different artist, bud. We're gonna these ones. So the Truitt pieces, there's 6 of them that ended up landing in alpha. Of course, you got the Crusade and the Jihad pair, which is really awesome. They are separate artworks, but they were combined for the playmat. You like those? Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I do. So, they're perfectly fitting, like these 2 warriors posing each other in battle. And then what I wanted to do is show the artworks for these. And let's start with the Crusade since that's the most popular. Okay, Dad. And Crusade #1. So in the other one, hey Jack, do you know where those other 2 cards are? That had the Nimbus in the back? It's up there, I think. See it?
Oh, what are we doing?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, I gotta get them.
There you go. Here, hand me one of those. We'll compare to the other series. All right. So this is the one. Auction just closed on this from Spin Attack. So this was the number 3 series. And there you go. Thanks, buddy. So this one is Border Militia, right? So he took one of the soldiers, and each one of these, he took like one of the elements from the that were prevalent in the original illustration, and he kind of blew it up, and it has this real gold leaf nimbus effect, which is this circular effect behind the prominent soldier, or in this case, this is just kind of like a villager that was thrust into battle to defend the homeland, right? So that was really cool. If we compare to this series now, while I have that one, let's go to Border Militia for the series number 5. So there's his name and signature. And then on these ones, he did a different juxtaposition. And I'll ask him about this on Sunday, like how he came up with this concept. But in each one, he has the large, oversized, prominent figure. Careful, bud. With the other villagers kind of like diminished to show scale and perspective and some intrigue in the illustration. So that's really cool. Border Militia. This one, Crusade, is one of his more popular artworks. You know, it's a unique aura, so it's a powerful card. And again, you see that similar concept with the large knight figure and the soldiers beneath. So that was Crusade. Let's take a look at Jihad. For Jihad, again, another unique aura. And the Jihad soldier. I actually mailed that off to the person that purchased it, so I can't show the comparison. But again, you have like the kind of Nimbus style on this one, where he showed the Jihad figure, only the Jihad figure in front of the Nimbus there, right? And here you have it with the camels and the pyramids in the background. Hey, buddy, watch TV. All right. So we got the Jihad, we got Spin Attack. Actually, before we do that, I want to go to Vanguard. So we'll talk to him about this one on Sunday in the interview on the Collector Arthouse website. If you guys want to kind of read up on that and get some baseline background perspective and knowledge on Truitt and kind of like how he was discovered for the project and some of the other work he's done before. I mean, he's a pretty young guy, I think 27 or 28 years old. I forgot what he told me when I did the box opening back in, was it May? A few months back, right before the alpha release. I was joking because I think I told everybody that he was like 22 or 24, and that's what I thought. But he was like, "Nah, man, it's like his birthday was pretty close, and he did just turn 27 or something like that." But he's a pretty young guy, like probably him and if I had to guess, like Vasily Ermolayev looks fairly young too, Russian artist. Very young guys and like super talented. And this one he talked about in our interview where he drew inspiration from this piece. I forget the artist's name off the cuff. It's actually like a difficult name to pronounce. I included it in the auction listing if you guys want to go look on the Facebook community page. But there's a scene, and it's in an interview. I showed a few examples of the picture where it's like this scene of this town street in Jerusalem. And of course, he kind of altered it. It didn't have the knights coming through town, but he had this like awesome effect for the Vanguard knights, making a triumphant like return from battle. It looks like we'll have to ask him kind of like to explain the concept if he's willing. But here you have the Vanguard knights, and there's like kind of the village people or the townspeople cheering them through town here. So it's really awesome concept. And here you have a different perspective on that, where it looks like they're actually leading the charge into battle, perhaps. What are you doing? You going swimming? All right. One of my favorites. We'll look at the 2 spin attacks in a moment. But we have this is the Highland Clansman. You know, so when I had Tony on in a previous live, he was gushing about this one. The Highland Clansman, really cool, with this lead warrior leading the charge. What's up? Yeah, you look on the computer screen. And this one is really epic. This is one of my favorites. With this shirtless, muscular guy holding the axe. I don't know what he's doing here. He's like mustering the strength. Or, again, maybe he's reigning victorious. It's hard to say. What do you think's going on here, Jack?
I don't know.
What do you see when you look at that? You don't know? and he's as tall as the mountains, right? So again, it's like a common technique where you show it with perspective to another element feature to really show that he's like a godlike figure. And it reminds me of, I think it was it Giant Shark, or no, I think it maybe was Unland Angler, which is the artwork that has it's like a opening beast or shark's mouth with like a little like mermaid or some kind of like little swimming fish or something coming out of the mouth, right? And I asked the artist on that one, I think it was through the interview process, about why they included that in the composition. And they said exactly that it was for perspective, to show that it was like a giant. I think it was Alan Pollock explaining the giant shark. And he said that gave it scale and perspective to show the magnitude of the shark and its mouth, like devouring this little helpless. Is it Unland Angler? I gotta look that up now. Unland Angler, he says. So, where's the keyboard, Jacket Boy?
Keyboard.
Collector Arthouse. You know what? Let's go to. I wonder if I could. So, is it? Let me take a look at. You guys can pull it up on Curiosa.io or Collector Arthouse. There is. All right, so let's take a look at Drew Tucker's Unland Angler. Yeah, so Unland Angler has it. You have this kind of like fishing lure and this helpless little guy drifting into that beast's mouth, right? And then let's look at in Alan Pollock's Giant Shark. Doesn't he have something like that as well? Yeah, it is. So in Giant Shark, there's like this mermaid swimming away from the shark. And I'm pretty sure it was in the interview with Alan. Again, on the Collector Arthouse website, you can go look at the interviews and articles page and find that interview with Alan. And that was the essence of why that mermaid figure was there, to show the sheer size of the giant shark, right? But yeah, that's interesting because in Unland Angler, you get that same effect, and you get that contrast with that. For one, the lure, which is kind of at the fore of the image or in the upper central right. And then you have this little tiny guy just kind of like hopelessly drifting down into the water. That's an amazing painting. I wonder if he's actually sold that one yet. I know he had a few at the at Gen Con. I heard he had Nightmare and someone picked that one up. That's a great buy. That one's really cool too. And in that one as well, you know what? Let me actually share my screen. Let's see if this will work. Share screen. And entire screen or window?
Window.
You think window?
Yeah.
Window's the way to go?
Yeah.
All right. Try window. All right. There we go. Good call. All right. So we're looking at the now, something I hadn't noticed, I called Drew one time. I told this story before ages ago, so if you're newer to the channel, you might not have heard it before, but I called Drew one time on my drive home from work, and somehow we got to talking about this Nightmare illustration, and he said it was like a Lovecraftian-inspired theme. And the thing I hadn't noticed is right here, this is probably as large as I can get it, unfortunately. It's a little small, but there's this wizard. He was like, hey, do you see something above like the hand of this guy that looks petrified running from this giant beast, right? And he's like, there's this wizard there in the middle, and it's summoning this monster. That's the idea of the art composition here. And, the typeline text says, an elite undead of torment and terror. And you see the terrified look on this guy's face. That's a great strength of Drew, the storytelling in his artwork, and the ability to show facial expression and really bring the illustration to life is really impressive. And it's a really interesting monster. I'm not personally like well up to speed on the Lovecraft stories, but stylistically, you see some of that throughout. You see that influence from several of the artists throughout the Alpha debut and a lot of the illustrations, and they have a similar type vibe. And this one features the octopus legs, which is pretty cool. No, don't leak that one yet, buddy. Gotta do a reveal with that later. It's a secret. All right. So that's the Nightmare. What we were talking about, if you go back to, there's two ways to do this. You can go to Sorcery Cards, right? And you can click by artist. So here I got Alan Pollock. or you can leverage the drop downs, right, and just pick an artist. So these are all of Alan's cards. And if we go down here, you have the giant shark, right? So this is what I was thinking about, and what came to mind is the little mermaid coming out amongst this like massive shark mouth. It says, what is Marco saying here?
Marco.
What is he saying, Jack? Well, that giant mouth from the deep. The giant mouth from the deep. Giant shark also has a huge mouth ready to eat a mermaid, but smaller than angler. Yeah. So they both leverage that same kind of effect. So if we go back to Drew's, somehow I got sidetracked on Nightmare because I had heard that he had that. Man, the Belfry is so good too. See, this is the problem. I get distracted. I love the Belfry, and I love that that's a curio that's been discovered. It looks really classic, and the box that says Legendary is awesome. Just the aesthetic of it is really cool. But you know what? There was an image. All right, let's stick to the story before we go to that. So on the Unland Angler, here he is. Yep, the same idea. The little guy drifting into the. I guess it's a shark too. What do you guys think? Some kind of sea beast. You know, in the interview I did with Drew, I asked him if this is kind of like paying homage to Dan Dan. Hey Jack, remember Dan Dan from Magic the Gathering?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, sure. 1990s. So he was like 0 minus 20 years old or so. No, much more. 25. 0 minus 35 years. Nah, 25. Can't be 35. We just said Magic 30. That's bad math. Anyway, so he had the Primordial Spring. I think that may have... No, I think that one sold and the Nightmare sold. Pathfinder sold at the IX Art Show last year or just before, you know, so with the LuxCon Art Show, that's in October every year in Pennsylvania, and Reading, Pennsylvania is where it is. And what happens is you guys can go to the website right now, and there's actually tons of paintings previewed that artists sell and or intend to bring to the show for sale. Sometimes those are available via pre-sale. And I remember when I showed up, you know, I did show up at the tail end of the show, but I remember seeing it throughout the week as I was, you know, I had the Facebook community group at that page, and I've literally posted on that every single day since the day I launched that Facebook group, and I was always like scouring for content, or it was just readily prevalent, you know, based on the channels I was tracking and whatnot. And I remember seeing images, like people were taking pictures at the IX Art Show because it's like a week-long event. And I usually go the last weekend, you know, like Friday or Saturday. And earlier in the week, a picture had surfaced, and it showed like the red sticker that showed that the painting was sold. So the Pathfinder was probably one of the first paintings that he sold outside of the ones that, you know, Eric purchased from him, or that might be it. I'm not sure that he offered it to the public really at all. Don't play with that, bud. So anyway, that one was sold, and pretty sure it was Pathfinder and not Pendulum of Pearl. I think it was the Pathfinder. And then this year, you know, he makes a sale for Nightmare and Primordial Spring. So there's several pieces left. What are you watching on TV, bud? Someone recently, and I forget who it is. Sometimes it gets lost in the action. Oh, you got a Pathfinder AP? Grendel's Gallery? Nice, man. Yeah, that's really sweet. So Wicker Mannequin, right? I was starting to text Drew today, but then I couldn't find the image. Someone had a image of Wicker Mannequin next to Entangled Terrain, and you see kind of like the aesthetic of those is pretty similar, like the color palette and the brush, right? And almost when you put them side by side, it almost looks like it could be a singular continuous image. Yeah, maybe that was that you, Grendel's Gallery? Someone was asking me about that, and I was like, hey, I'll text Drew and ask him. Usually he won't straight up tell me. He'll play coy a little bit and be like, yeah, you know, if that's what you think, that's cool, man. Let's go with that, right? So I don't know if he'd tell me or not, but look at the color palette. I mean, he either did it on the same day, or these are just like favorite color choices of his. I wish I would have thought to ask about that sooner, although I'm not sure that Wicker Mannequin was actually revealed. That might have been, I don't know if that was in the final 35 cards that they held back on revealing. But, you know, it looks very similar in color palette to Entangled Terrain. All right. So, Jack, give me a few minutes. Go back and watch TV with Maddie. Did Maddie fall asleep?
Let me see.
All right, guys. So let's go back to the overhead cam. And let me just remove this. No. Add that. Remove this.
No.
Oh, shit.
I don't know when we watch TV.
My accountant, my accountant's messaging me at 9:30 on a Friday night. Everybody, all right. Send him some notes. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's go back to the Truett pieces. So let me do the camera switch. And all right. So we were looking at Highland Klansman, a favorite artwork of mine from his portfolio, and this one is one of his better APs that, in my opinion, that I personally really love. All right, and then Spin Attack, right? So we had the one that just sold, which was this one. So this is gone. This is really cool. It kind of shows this this soldier after he's done with his radial violence, just slashing at dragons, right? 3 dragons, and here he is just chilling in front of the Nimbus. All right, so we have that one, and then in this new series, you get the oversized figure, like another victorious godlike figure kneeling in front of the dragon with his sword on his back, and the dragon soaring overhead. So I don't know, maybe you let one get away. Maybe this one is not quite done yet. So maybe he's dead and he becomes like a godlike entity, right? But this little guy is still in the throes of battle trying to make it happen. You know, this is an average looking man. This might be a Truett self-portrait with some beard action. I'm not sure. But this is just an average guy giving it his all against these three mighty beasts, right? And here he is. That's actually pretty awesome. I love that concept. So that's really cool. Yeah, so Border Militia, Spin Attack. I'm going to set those aside. And then here is the set of those. Really amazing concepts by Truett. Super creative. You know, it's what I love about the artist proofs, you know, because we have, Vincent Pompetti, I think, was the most commissioned artist in Sorcery. And it's going to go back. Let's do something here. So let's go back to the website. And all right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to remove that for a moment. And what I wanted to do is go to the Facebook page for a moment so I could find this image. All right, so if we go to Sorcery, Contested Realm Community, let me do what did I call this? The best card in Sorcery? Let's see, best card. Yeah, there it is. All right, so the cool thing about this, take a look at this, right? This is the order of the lineup. I'm not sure, does it say that here? A big thank you to the extraordinary artists of Sorcery. All artists retain copyright for their work. All right, take a look at this lineup. And now if we go to the sorcerytcg.com website and go to the art page, they have this list of artists, right? And, you know, this is pretty... Too Fluent wants to buy them all. You have all these artists listed, right? And then, again, this is pretty outdated, so I don't think anyone's looking at this anymore. But this note's very important, right? It says in chronological order, first to last, and joining the project. So that's a pretty interesting piece of information. When I did my showcase box reveal, I had Drew Tucker open with me, and I was like, "Hey, Drew, I don't know. Did you know that you're like the third ever Sorcery artist commissioned?" And he had no idea. He was like, no, I didn't know I was like that early in the project. But you had Andrea Modesti, who, I love his work. I own several of his paintings. And I actually bought one recently. And then one that I don't know. It wasn't used in alpha, let's say. And then I got 2 others that I'm buying from a guy. Which reminds me, I got to hit him up and see if he shipped that to me. So... a lot of Modesti pieces. I just really love his style. But he was number 1. Mikhail Nagy-Paul, and that's another thing. I got to look at the tracking number. Is that? It's being shared. Yeah, shit. All right, so he has 8 artist proofs that are en route to me. Mikhail. And guys, two of these. Now he showed me three of them. One of them is amazing, beautiful aesthetic of I think it was Sinkhole. It's a really amazing scene. You're gonna be super impressed with the finished quality of that one. But then these other two. One was the what is it? Tadpole pool. Let me go to Mikhail's. I'm going off on a tangent here. We'll come back to my point. But if you look at look at Tadpole Pool, right? Look, this one's going this way, this one's going that way, and this one's saying, "What do you want from me?" Right? The famous line from what was it, Goodfellas? When he's talking about the what's going on in the painting. I wonder if that that came across his mind when he came up with this concept. But there's a freaking hilarious artist proof that he did of this. It's gonna blow your guys' mind, right? So there's that one, and then there's one he did of the bullfrog, the Brobdingnag bullfrog, and it's I'll give you a hint, right? So on the back of this artist proof, you have the mammoth the bullfrog, and then here in the image, you just have what is he have some like little foliage, again, probably by design to show scale and the mass of that bullfrog. You can tell he's a chunky beast, right? But then he's massive. But this lets you know like how tall he is and how wide he is, right? So you're gonna get a piece of perspective on this one. Let me tell you, when you see that artist proof, it's freaking hilarious that what he drew over here in the forefront, and you'll probably get it right away. Man, the guy's incredible. So anyway, here's your lineup. It says it's in chronological order from when these artists were commissioned. We started with Andrea Modesti, Mikhail Nagy, Paul Drew Tucker, Melissa Benson, yada, yada, yada. Anson Maddox, interestingly. So if you take a look at this, he started with Modesti. I'm pretty sure he just discovered on ArtStation. Or, I don't. You know what? I'm not sure. Let me go back to... Let me see if I... So if you go to Sorcery Artist Bio... No, that's the bio. Take a look at his website real quick. Man, I get distracted so easily. He's got an old school blogspot.com website, right? That's why he's such a cool classic guy. Look at him just chilling there. He lives in Italy, so this might have been in I don't know. I think he said like, let's see, did he say here? He says he's inspired by the wildlife in the Alps, okay. So, I don't know. That doesn't look like probably maybe in the horizon. It's hard to tell. Animals, castles, and ancient villages. I thought he said more specifically. Maybe this was it. Yeah, this is the half-timbered houses in Germany and Switzerland. So that's where we see, when we go back and look at Andrea's work, you see that in his land or atlas pieces, right? So if you go to Andrea Modesti and look at his basic land, so to speak, the humble village, these look like little Switzerland huts or German, right? Here with the rustic village and then the simple village. So those are really beautiful. Yeah, these are really impressive, underrated artworks. Like look at the tremendous detail in Highland Falconer, with all the foliage, the grass, the ornate outfit he's wearing there, the detail of the falcon itself. The foot soldiers are a real cool trio. Something interesting about these, I don't have the images handy, but I asked him about these paintings and he shared these, and there's like, in some of these, I want to say maybe it's this one, you could barely see it peeking above the box. There's like a down soldier here on the hill that was wounded or killed in battle, which is really cool. Little Easter eggs like that, right? And these ones were zoomed, I want to say. Perhaps this one and or that one, I forget. But there's like another figure in one of these that's out like in the background. But I imagine like when these had to be shrunk down to quarter size, they were more zoomed, right? To have more of like a prominent, typically in TCGs and in cards, you got to have a prominent focal figure so it's immediately recognizable. So I'm sure that's the aesthetic that Eric was looking for, and he had honed in on a couple of the soldiers here in each case. So going back here, he's got this really nice website. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. Artist proofs arrived. I guess I hadn't been here in a little bit. I don't remember if I saw him post this. So he said, here's the binder, wonderful, and look at Francesca Berald's cover art. Yeah, so there's a real nice nod to Francesca. Real nice, generous, humble guy. Um, Still has a sticky note. This is Andrea Modesti on it. That's awesome. And yeah, there's his epic Spear of Destiny. You square corners, so those are the artist proofs. And beautiful cards. Candlemas Monks, man. One of my favorite artworks in the whole set. I bought that painting the day that was revealed. It just looks like so classic, such a throwback style of artwork. And much different. It's got a much different vibe than his other pieces. So, here you have it. His artist proofs, let's see. Yeah, so here he's talking about new video from Collector Arthouse with the presentation of my Humble Village card. Right, so this is where I did a video and I revealed this painting. I bought this painting from him. So that's what he's talking about. Really beautiful piece, and nice of him to link it here from, I guess he linked like my box opening, which was really cool. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to participate. I would have loved to have him on the show, but he linked that, and then also another video where I showcased his artwork. Some greeting cards he did. Here's the Candlemas Monks. Sorcery Contest Realm new card revealed with my illustration of medieval monks. Yeah, so I think I messaged him this image when Eric showed it in the Discord. So I'm not sure that that's even the final version, but you see the beautiful original artwork for that one. He says, thanks as always to Eric for giving me the privilege to paint on this project, and to Micah, Collector Arthouse, for the great job of presenting the cards, illustrations, and artists on the site. It's very nice. And he links to, my website with all his cards. So, yeah, again, the Swiss and German influence of these, the housing there, You see each artist, their style transcends, beyond the game. It's very much like it is in Sorcery. They weren't forced into a specific style template or a different kind of motif. They're able to stay true to the way they paint, right? So you see his work outside of the game is very similar to how you see it in some of the elements, with the grass and not the costumes, but the clothing that the figures wear, and like the background, the simple little structural buildings he shows in a lot of his pieces. Many of these look like they could almost be licensed and used for Sorcery in a way. And here's a feature I did on a Spear of Destiny. So here's a couple shots of the foot soldiers. Yeah, it's kind of obscured, so you can't really see what's going on the hill there, like I was talking about earlier. This was when I told him I had auctioned his sample card, Spear of Destiny. I think it had a different casting cost in the final alpha version. But, yeah, he was talking about how this sold for $2,000. So he was pretty excited that his work was so appreciated and popular. All right, so just cool. Look at that, the longbowman, man, with the fine point brush to get all that detail and all that color, right? It's not easy to do. It's true master. All right, so that's Andrea's website. Wild tangent there. I was talking about how the artists are shown in chronological order, and then... All right, so think about the lineup, right? You got Modesti, Nagy, Paul, Tucker, Benson, Maddox. Modesti, Nagy, Paul, Tucker, Benson, Maddox, right? So this card, it doesn't say it on the card, but this card is also in the chronological order that the artists were commissioned for the game, which is really cool and a nice nod to the artist. I'd love to have this in like a pristine, like graded as a pristine mint 10. It'd be a cheap grade because the card itself, it has like no value. It's, what is it in the box topper? Yeah, it's in the box topper. So it'd be fun to like send a pile of these in for grading and try to get that in a perfect score. It would be on brand for what I love about Sorcery. All right. Yeah, so I guess that's the point I wanted to make there with the website. Oh, you can't come on. All right. All right, so let's drop the website and go back to overhead cam. All right, guys. Let's go back and look at some cards again. All right. Just going to drop the keyboard. And let's see. I showed the Gorgons. I showed Truitt's new series. I could get out the art folio. All right, what I'll do here is let's take a look at the Mage Hunter. Are we fully zoomed here? So Tony was pretty excited about this one. He has a thumb injury, so he's having a hard time painting or even like signing his name at this point. He was talking about, like on the last live I had him on, how he might need to have surgery on his thumb because it's basically completely numb on his right hand, his painting hand. So it's very problematic to paint and to even write his name. You know, as you're holding a thumb to stabilize. He was talking about how you stabilize like a pen or pencil. You take for granted how much you roll your thumb as you're writing your name. So he has no feeling or sensation in his thumb. So it's a challenge right now. But he had gotten this card done, presumably before the injury, or he just very gingerly got through it, I guess, to finish it off. But notice the red medallion. These are a few things you want to take note of. The red medallion. This is Tony right here. He told me the story of this Mage Slayer composition. And this is him. This is a guy that his daughter was dating. He did not... I want to say maybe they were engaged. I don't know if they were engaged because I remember saying like, oh, your son-in-law. And he's like, no. She didn't marry the guy. You know, so maybe they were dating or something. And like he got into like a fight or argument with him, right? And he was like, hey, I got to do this painting for this game, Sorcery, right? So how about, like, this is what he did to break the ice and kind of make up with the guy, I guess, right? He said, or just to patch things up, he said, how about we do a painting of you slitting my throat? And they actually enacted this to get a picture for like a reference image. And so this is the, her daughter's boyfriend. This is Tony. He had just slit his throat, right? So you see the spilled wine on the book, the blood on the knife, the look of pure fear, shock, and horror on Tony's face as he's pulling his head back. And so you got the red medallion, right? You got the sun being violent and aggressive. And now look at he said all of the artist proofs he's going to do for Mage Slayer is going to be like a very violent artwork, right? And here you go. Have a look at number 2 in the series. I don't know what he did with number 1 yet, but this is it. Incredible art piece. Yeah, when you know the whole story, it hits different, right? So here's the sun, right? Not only does he slit his throat, but he takes that sling, that bow on his back, and he puts one right through the head, right through his ear, in fact, through the ear, out the eyeball, and you have this dangling eyeball down here, and there's that red medallion I was talking about. Incredibly done. It's so good. And then that staff, I thought it was kind of like a staff. I guess that was the end of his bow. It has this little like dragon head figure, or wherever that was. It's kind of obscured by the title box here. But yeah, really amazing artist. The incredible detail. It always looks like it could almost be done digitally, or I don't know. It's just amazing how he can get like the detail and the texture and like the depth perspective just so spot on. Really incredible. So that is Mage Slayer, number 2 of 25. And now what I'm going to do, guys, is it's going to be, this will be the artist proof. This will be auctioned. I'm going to auction it for him on my platform, Sorcery Contested Realm Community Group, Facebook community group. And these are all Vincent Pompetti artist proofs. All right, so I showcased these on a previous live. If you guys are interested in Pompetti, I actually just sold a complete full set, 25 cards, the most commissioned artist for Sorcery. And he has 25 cards in alpha, and the guy bought all 25 artist proofs. We worked out a deal for that. And but what we're talking about is the Mage Slayer, right? So if you're interested in Pompetti or Elvira Palikowska. Oh, wow. All right. Sorry, got a message from Lindsay Crewmet. Lindsay's actually got 3 artist proofs done. She's going to be sending me those soon, too. I think she is. I don't know how many she's looking to finish before she sends them to me, but you guys should join Lindsay's Instagram. and Facebook for that matter. She showcases these artist proofs she's working on. And again, she's only finished 3 so far. Let me move this stack of cards over. But she showed the 3 she's done is Seasoned Sellsword and Ancient. Is she doing Ancient Dragon or shit, man? Now I'm forgetting. The Seasoned Sellsword is the one she just finished. It's really beautiful. I love that one. All right. So this is going to be tricky, guys. So I have a bunch of the original sketches from Elvira Shakarova, and they're a little undersized for this, but this is really cool because these are, some of the first artist proofs we offered from Elvira Shakarova, were the early concept sketches that she had done for the mix cards. So I may get this framed. Perhaps what might be cool is to slide in. She's got these cards kind of slotted out where she was staging them. Let me try something here with the lights. See if we get less glare. Yeah, it's a little better. So she's got them kind of slotted out. Oh shit! All right. Hang on a second. Let me message Lindsay back. All right. All right, guys. She didn't know I was live. All right. So we got. All right. So you're gonna see several sketches here from Elvira Palakowska. Not Palaka. Elvira Shakarova, right? Now this one, Spontaneous Combustion. We have not. I don't think that this one did not make it to Alpha, correct? Let me go back to cards. Elvira Shakarova. I remember we might have saw a mock-up of that one on a card template, but I'm not sure that we ever saw it in Tabletop Simulator. And no, it's not in Alpha. So that might be a card we see in the future. Really cool artwork. Lindsay does Ancient Dragon. Yeah, I just didn't know if Lindsay had done an artist proof yet of Ancient Dragon, but can't wait till she does. Here you have the self-same Simulacrum, the Dryads. I know the zoom's not great. I'll try to fix it when we get to what I actually wanted to feature. The Wind Sylph, the Guile Sirens, Elementalist. Here's a crossover concept piece that we did with Kyle Calazans. So he did this is a print, right, of the Ral Dromedary. And then here he did he says test printing. And it says Kyle Calazan de Melo Marques. I don't know if that's what that means, that the town he's in or what, but he kind of signed it here. And he drew the Doomsday device up on the back of the camel. So we did a series of 3 of these. And this was just kind of like him testing out the concept. You can see how great of an artist he is. Where he can sketch it in really nice detail like that. And then the finished product that he painted was really awesome. All right. So moving on. Here we have the original painting for Candlemas Monks by Andrea. Beautiful. The original painting for Humble Village. We were talking about that earlier. Gorgeous artwork. Really nice size. The original sketch from Tony Sudlow from King of the Realm. And Tony talked about this. He told the story when I had him on the last live I did. How he had these figures coming out of the crown or behind the crown. He was kind of staged in front of it. And Eric wanted to kind of simplify that and get rid of that. So he changed it to have more of the background composition of one of his famous art pieces that inspired that. All right, so here we go. Alas, we've made it to the sketch. So with the artist proof, guys, which I just covered, we're going to auction the artist proof. And you can see this is the entire size of this art portfolio, which is a 14 by 17 portfolio, you know? And this is really massive, right? It fills out the full page. So it's roughly 14 by 17. This is the original sketch. So what I need to ask him is if the original painting was that size. Because the other one, the King of the Realm you just saw, was like more about this size, right? It was probably more like 8 by 10. And I actually sold the original painting for King of the Realm as well. And it was probably roughly about that size. Now this one here, this is very large. This is the Mage Slayer. And the detailed sketch looks just like the finished painted product, right? So that's really awesome. That'll frame incredibly well. And then this is really cool. He did this print here. Take a look at this. So this is his process, and he took some pictures as he was evolving his artist proof specifically, right? Remember the artist proof? Upside down. So you got the artist proof. There it is. And he started similarly working on this proof with a sketch. Let me zoom. We'll go to the 4 elements of it. He has the sketch, right? And then he starts filling in with some color down here in the lower left. A little more matured. And then the final piece. Just like the final piece, right? That's a picture of the actual final artist proof. So this would be a really cool opportunity to have like a really epic large frame. Perhaps to frame this artist proof with this print of the evolution of the creation of the artist proof, painting and illustration itself, or if you prefer, with the actual original art, full art sketch, or both, right? Maybe you have the card in foil and full art, and then you have the printed proof with the design evolution, or, you know, separate frames displayed next to each other with this awesome, very large detailed sketch of the scene. Awesome. So I'm gonna have to. My challenge here is going to be trying to get some images of this because this was shipped in the tubes, so it was rolled. That's why I'm trying to get it to lay flat. I didn't really want to roll it in the opposite direction, but that's what's going on here. It provides some pressure in the art portfolio. So these art portfolios, Profolio as they call it, is pretty nice. The brand here is Itoya. It's a nice way to store your art if you don't have it framed just yet. So I picked that up. The size is great. You know, if I have smaller pieces, it fits in there, no problem. And if I have larger pieces, it often accommodates it as long as it's not larger than 14 by 17, which is pretty big, right? Even the Atlas Land from Andrea Modesti, that one wasn't quite that large, nor was the Candlemass Monks, but it's good size and it's nice. And Andrea Modesti, man, great painter. So is Tony Sudlow. So there you have it, guys. I guess I won't get into the Vincent pieces. We only have a few people here. I didn't plan this in advance, so I didn't expect like a really big turnout. But look for this to come tomorrow night. We'll probably do a 48-hour auction with this artist proof by Tony. Started Saturday, ended Monday. And then maybe we'll do something else starting Saturday, ending Sunday. But then next week, we're going to get into the Truett series, as we saw earlier. The Truett APs. And I'm going to have something like fairly soon from Mikhail. And while we're here, let me see if I can get a quick estimate on that. All right. So what we're gonna do is let me drop that. I probably should have just kept it. Let me keep it. And all right, this is what we got to do, guys. All right, just bear with me here for a minute. Look at the naked ladies here, and the Truant, action. I'm gonna go to the website. No, I'm gonna go to Facebook, and let's see. So I'm gonna look at Mikhail. Oh wait, who hit me up here? Every penny. Every penny's accounted for, says the accountant. All right. So let me see. I got a shipping number from Mikhail. Let me know when it arrives. Oh, he sent 8 artist proofs and 6 sketches. So those also are going to be offered with sketches. I actually forgot about that. That is, that's awesome. All right. So track your package. Few details. Ah, shit. Or process through, see all tracking. So it was still in Slovakia as of the 23rd. When was that? Wednesday? So we printed this label. Well, what's going on here? Track the package. View it. Man, I'm getting tired here. All right. So I guess he printed the label on Tuesday, the 22nd, and made its way through a few towns in Slovakia. And the last record of it on the 23rd. It comes pretty quick, I think, once it shoots overseas, and then it's got to get through U.S. customs. It should be. I'll get it sometime this coming week. It's just a matter of when exactly. Yeah. Every penny's accounted for. Luckily, this timing. Yeah. All right. No notice, can't. Outside with the fam. All right, so you can't get the guest. I gotta get back to Lindsay. All right, guys. So that's what's going on. Everyone's quiet. Everybody pass out. It's midday in Australia, apparently. It's about 10 o'clock here on the East Coast. Just chilling. It's been almost an hour. Does anybody have any topics or questions? Or should we wrap this thing up? Let me see here. Let's go with... All right, let's present the screen. Present. Oh, the window. All right. All right. All right, so we'll drop this one. And let's see what's going on the Facebook page. Currently live for auction. Now, I'm on this Facebook page scrolling and looking at the Facebook page. So we got the live coming up Sunday. Oh no, this is happening right now. The impromptu live. This just ended. This just ended. Actually, I gotta close this out. I think it closed at gotta close this out, guys. Closed at 2100. Not bad. That's what happens when you get distracted. When will Border Militia go for auction? I'm gonna message you after this, Lewis. I got a proposition for you. All right, so yeah, check out this Liz Danforth. So Liz has a very interesting Patreon, right? And every so often she'll post something about sorcery that she wants to get out there more broadly and not just limited to her patrons. and then she'll message me. And she did that today. She sent me a message because she's not on Facebook. She's on Discord, right? So she'll DM me on Discord usually, or reach me in some way and say, hey, maybe you could share this across your platforms if you're so inclined to do so, right? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, of course. Especially I'll be going to IX, so it'd be great to see her there. But she messaged me today and said, she did this post about AluxCon, the IX art show. And let's see. She says, Eric Olofsson, the creative mind behind the sorcery, has asked us to keep the images under wraps until the end of the year, more or less. So I've been keeping mum, but twisting in my chair like an antsy toddler and being an evil tease. She's a hell of a writer. She's got a way with words. I am insanely pleased with how it's coming out, and this is precisely the sort of work-in-progress behind-the-scenes post I like to write about. Now and then I drop hints of references, shots I am using, of which there are a great many, of which this is totally not one. Duped us. All right, so Eric has been getting progress snapshots. He had to approve the initial sketch and felt that one way would be exceptional. He felt this one would be exceptional right from the start. So she's talking about a piece that she's going to be bringing to the IX Art Show in Reading, Pennsylvania in October. Might be a good choice to use promoting the new expansion. So it's going to be from Arthurian Legends, thereby letting people see the whole thing. I'm hoping for a poster. All right, so she's hoping to get a poster that she can bring to the IX Art Show and display at her booth, and perhaps have the original painting with her, I think. Maybe she'll reveal it as a poster. It's not clear. After all, that will be hidden behind the text blocks when it is printed. A few reduced to a few square inches, blah, 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 blah. All right. A week ago, I sent him a snapshot to let him know I was still working and it was almost finished. When I mentioned that I was going to a LuxCon showcase, he said, does it help you to show the work in progress at a LuxCon? I like the thought of doing some art reveals like that through the artists rather than waiting to reveal exactly everything in card form. Nice. So here she's sharing some insights, some correspondence with Eric that said that rather than doing reveals, like in the lead up to Alpha, he wasn't really revealing paintings per se. He allowed me to do some painting reveals on my Collector Arthouse YouTube channel. And I had an interview with Elvira Shakarova, and she revealed one of her knights. She has several knights that she's doing for Arthurian Legends that Eric described as being a bit of a chase card. He said, in kind of like vague, cryptic way that he speaks, right? That it'd be a chase card of some kind. Like, I was like, will it be an insert or something? And he said it's some chase card of that nature. So I'm not sure if he was alluding to curios or if it's like just a unique rarity foil or a promo. Probably not a promo. I think he said it would be a chase card of sorts in the alpha set. So maybe imagine if you had the Knights of the Round Table as the special chase curios, if the idea of curios persists to Arthurian Legends. I don't know. He didn't say all that, right? I'm speculating. But I digress. His point is he likes this idea of revealing paintings. I had the opportunity to have Jeff Menges on the show as well, and he revealed his what was it? So Standing Stones became the piece in Alpha from Kyle Calazans, and Stonehenge was Stonehenge. It became Standing Stones. Jeff is going to have Stonehenge in Arthurian Legends, and he did that reveal. If you got to go to the live tab on my YouTube channel, you'll find it with Jeff Menges, right? So anyway, his Over the Moon LuxCon is the premier art show for fantasy and science fictional arts. All right, so she competes to get into the showcase. The main gallery show is what she's talking about. Space is limited, and she's got to compete with like legends like Donato Giancola, Tom Kidd, David Palumbo, and Boris Vallejo. Yeah, so Boris again is going to be at the IX Art Show this year. That's just this year. So in the past, she's saying he had the Hildenbrandts, Michael Whalen, and Don Mites have been present over the years. All right. But wait, there's more. I've been holding on to most of my Sorcery original. Let's see what this link does. My Sorcery originals. Oh, she linked to my website. That's very nice. I had no idea that that was a link to my website. I'll have to hit her up and say thank you. So my Sorcery originals, she points to my website with that was the full art gallery I was talking about earlier, guys, where I curated all these images. And actually, some of them didn't end up using for alpha. So spoiler alert, when I was showing the sketches, one of them was the spontaneous combustion, which presumably will be used for a future set. It was not used for alpha, but that's one by Elvira Shakarova. So was Holy Grail by Tony Sudlow. I think that'll be in Arthurian Legends. You'll have a text box. So you got an Easter egg. Spoiler reveal right here. Look out. You got the Midland Army. Yeah. This is it. The full art page. All right, so back to Liz's post. Great of her to share that. Let's see. Anyone interested in purchasing Sorcery? Oh, wait. Back up here. I haven't wanted to either overprice nor underprice them, but hope to find a good balance to make it a win-win with buyer and seller alike. With the game's release, I am starting to get a better idea of what that means. Yeah, so there's been a lot of painting sales. She's starting to understand the market a little better, I guess is what she's saying. I'll be offering one of my originals for sale at the show, probably in an auction or a best offer format. And it won't be Mirror Realm. She included that caveat. I haven't made a decision about which, but my current thinking is that it'll be one of these. Oh, wow, man. If she offers Royal Bodyguard, that would be pretty epic. I love my favorite. Mirror Realm is great. Irrefutably, everybody loves Mirror Realm for a reason. But this is a very significant painting here, Royal Bodyguard, and I really love this one. That'd be really cool to own. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if she offers that one. I don't think these two would do as well as, I don't know. I'm biased because I like Royal Bodyguard, but people like Evil Clowns too. Or the Giant Slumberous, is it? This is actually very nicely done too. Nice scenic piece that could do well too. But Royal Bodyguard, people are gonna understand the significance of that at that show. So that's probably a good strategic offer for that type of event. But we'll see. Anyone interested in purchasing a sorcery painting should get in touch with me directly. The contact information is on our website. There's a link. I will put your name on a wait list and keep you informed of your options if you cannot attend the show. All right. So you should go to our website, sign up for our wait list, figure out what's going on with this painting. If you're interested in one of these three, potentially, she might change her mind, but she might offer one of these three originals. And then she goes on to say that she has prints of Mirror Realm for sale in various sizes and prices, including canvas prints. Really nice. Approximately the size of the original art. And lots of Magic, Middle-earth, personal art, and other surprises to share if you make it to the show. Wow. Yeah, she has mentioned to me in the past she does have a lot of, if you guys are in the Middle-earth, she's done a lot of beautiful, really cool work for that. I think it was maybe both sketches and paintings. I seem to recall black and white and color sketches. We talked about this well over a year ago. So it sounds like, she's dug that up and maybe she's going to bring that to the IX art show and offer those for sale. Now, she's talking about, I don't know if she's talking about prints still here, though. She's going to bring prints of Magic, Middle-earth, personal art, and other surprises. So, yeah. So I'll see her there in October and look forward to seeing her there at that event. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it for today. Make sure you tune in Sunday at 12 o'clock for a discussion with Truett Parrish. Let's see, where did they sign Truett? Did they bring him on later? Yeah. Fairly later. Now, something interesting here is I'm thinking through this. These artists were brought on. Look at the latter part of the lineup and consider the number of artworks that were commissioned from those artists. So if you go from the start, and do I still have it up? Oh, no. the art card. All right, so Andrea Modesti, he has a lot of pieces in Alpha, probably close to like 20-ish. And he was the first artist to be commissioned. Mikhail has a lot, and he did all those frog tokens, right? Well, I'll get all the artists up front. They have several pieces, right? Because they had more time to do it over the years. And then years, because they started in 2017, 2018. But you get towards the tail end of the list, and you have artists like, Frazetta was licensed. That's an outlier, and he's deceased. Adam Casper added very late. He only has one piece in the set. Adam Burke has 3, I think, that were used for Alpha. Kyle has a handful or so. Margaret had ended up with 2, I want to say, 2 or 3 in Alpha. She ended up doing like 5 or so. She told me she had like 3 more that haven't been revealed. So they'll probably be used in Arthurian Legends, presumably. But Jussie, he's a good amount. Santiago Caruso only has a few. Great artist. Ian Miller, several of his were licensed, so a different story. Matthias has about a handful. Truitt has 6 pieces. So you see these artists that were added later, closer to the initial intended release, were commissioned less. So maybe we'll see much more from them in future sets, is my hope, now that they've been working on Arthurian Legends for many months, if not years, some pieces that were not used in Alpha. But anyway, I'll leave it there, guys. Hope you can join me Sunday at noon. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Facebook group, the Collector Arthouse Discord if you like to talk about sorcery day to day. People are talking about it every day. And you can follow the auctions in both locations. And I'd say, if you're into sorcery, check out the website. Look at my website, collectorarthouse.com, especially if you're newer to sorcery. There's a lot to learn there, a lot of articles, a lot of features, the painting, stories behind the artwork, illustrations, and this channel too. Go to the earlier versions of this channel, and you'll see a lot of like interviews I did with artists and talking about sample cards and everything there is to know about pop size, rarity, which ones exist, how they were created, provenance, that type of thing. Some interesting historical facts, some speculation about what curios were going to be and then what they actually were, which were pretty close in a lot of cases. Some yes, some no. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and follow the channel. You never know when I might go live on no notice, especially on the weekends. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Sunday. See ya.